বৈবশতো নাম এই সপ্তম মন্বন্তর 27 চতুর্যুগ তাহারো অন্তর। Divanand Prabhu, could you read the translation, please?
Sure, Prabhuji. The present Manu, who is the seventh, is called Vaivasata, the son of Vivaswan. 27 Divya Yugas, 27 into 4,320,000 solar years of his age have now passed.
Okay. Ram Hanuman Prabhu, short and sweet purport.
Sure, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The names of the 14 Manus are as follows. 1. Swayambhavu. 2. Swaroshya. 3. Uttama. 4. Tamasha. 5. Raivata. 6. Chakshusha. 7. Vaivasvata. 8. Sharvani. 9. Daksha Sharvani. 10. Brahma Sharvani. 11. Dharma Sharvani. 12. Rudraputra Rudra Sharvani. 13. Raucha or Deva Sharvani. 14. And Bhautyaka or Indra Sharvani.
Is Bhautyaka or Indra Savarni. So this is the, you know, how people got confused. Not confused, they just think, wow, really? So we can see that right now we are present in a 7 Manus, Shaptam Manantar. We are in a Shaptam Manantar, and that Shaptam Manantar, every Manantar have how many Chaturjug? Did you remember? Rachana Mata?
Manvantar, yes, Prabhuji, I have in my book, in my notes. Okay. Every Manvantar we have 14 Manvantar, 24, no?
Just check the verse 8.
Verse 8, okay. 71 चतुर्युगे एक मनवंतर. 51, 71 means what?
71.
71.
71.
Oh, 71. 71. Yes.
So 71 Chaturjugas are becoming one Manantar. Right? So now we are in a Saptam Manantar, and the Saptam Manantar, where we are over here is mentioning, you know, when if you see there's someone's performing a puja, you know, it's like a pandit. When we come to your house or someone's house, the very beginning we do the Shankalpa. On the Shankalpa we chant the mantra. अष्टविंशति चतुर्युगे कलिर प्रथमचरणे मेधिभूतस्य जम्बूद्वीपे भारतवर्षे भारतखंडे. Right? So वैवशत मन्वन्तरे अष्टविंशति चतुर्युगे means it is वैवशत मन्वन्तर, and one Manu's age is 71 Chaturjugas, and now present is 28 Chaturjugas are present right now. So 27 Chaturjugas are past.
Okay. Or we are running in 28.
We are running in 28 Chaturjugas.
27
is past.
Okay.
So when this Kali Yuga will be end, then this 28 Chaturjuga will be over.
Wow, that's a huge number.
Yeah, so it will come just next verse.
Yeah.
Astavimsha Chaturjuge Daporere Sheshe Brajero Shohite Hai Krishnero Prakashe. So, yeah, translation Ramchandra Priya Prabhu.
Dear Prabhu, at the end of the Dwapar Yuga of the 28th Divya Yuga, Lord Krishna appears on earth with the full paraphernalia of his eternal Vrajadham.
Jai. Okay. Now we'll have a purport. Is Rose Mata, do you have a book with you? No, look like she don't have a book. So you can hear Divanand Prabhu. Could you read the purport, please?
Sure, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now is the term of Vaivasvata Manu, during which Lord Chaitanya appears. First, Lord Krishna appears at the close of the Dwapar Yuga of the 28th Divya Yuga, and then Lord Chaitanya appears in the Kali Yuga of the same Divya Yuga. Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya appear once in each day of Brahma, or once in 14 Manavtaras, Antaras, each of 71 Divya Yugas in duration. From the beginning of Brahma's day of, I think this is 4,320,000,000 years, 6 Manus appear and disappear before Lord Krishna appears. Thus, 1,975,320,000 years of the day of Brahma elapse before the appearance of Lord Krishna. This is an astronomical calculation according to solar years.
So this year's is not our years, right? The solar years. And solar years, how big solar years is it, Prabhu? Ramchandra Priya Prabhu?
In terms of Prabhu, like
Terms of our year.
our years, okay, ours like 6 months is equal to 12 hours of in the Sorga Loka.
Surya Loka.
Yeah. So ours may be more, I don't know how to calculate that.
Yeah. So Shaura Varsha, not in generally saying it like a Shaura Loka actually is more than that, because our 6 month for the heavenly planet, for the heavenly planet, for them it is 12 hours.
Yeah.
But the Suryas are above than them. And is mentioning, I was reading in some places, they said is our 1 year is equal to 12 hours of the Shaura. So ultimately our 1 year and Shauras is just for a 1 day, is like a 24 hours. Sorry, our 1 year is at 12 hours and another year is 12, is like our 2 years is equal to only 1 day of Surya Lokas. On that calculation means our 100 years, for them just only 50 days, right?
Mm.
So on that trillion years, if you calculate in our way, so might be, I don't know what answer we will get, isn't it?
So,
Oh.
Prabhu, you said one solar year is sorry. Our 1 year is equal to 12 hours of the solar. Is that correct?
Yes, true.
Okay.
Our 1 year is equal to 12 hours of the solar planets.
Solar planets. Okay.
So that's over here the timing are mentioning with the Shaura Varsha, as the astronomer, as Shaura Varshas. So Krishna doesn't come in every Dapar Yugas, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come every Kali Yugas. He don't come every Kali Yugas. So over here we got the proofs. Now is like if anyone asks that, okay, when Krishna come personally Krishna present here. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally present here, we might be here that Shamrat Akbar and Birbal story. Birbal is one of the diamond of Akbar's assembly. Akbar is a Muslim and Birbal is a Hindu. And Shamrat Akbar, he was actually very much, he's Muslims, but he have a very good qualities also. That, he did a lot of work, as we know, the Radha Kund, Shamkund. He's the person who actually dig them up and make them a surround with the concrete. That's actually Shamrat Akbar did. One time, Shamrat Akbar asking to Birbal, why your God have to come personally in this earthly planet? What is the reason? He's a God. He have all power. He could send someone else to take care of it. Why he need to come? Rachanamata, did you remember? I was sharing this story on the beginning.
No, Prabhuji.
Now, on the very beginning, why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have to come personally and Krishna have to come personally. So, Birbal gave you one nice answer with the example. Ramchandra Prabhu, do you know that?
Prabhu, I know the story, though I
Please
was
share
not
with
there in
us.
the beginning. So just Birbal always, whenever there is such discussion, he will give practical examples. So once when Maharaj Akbar and Birbal were crossing a river in a boat, his son was also there. Akbar's son was also there. So he was young. The son was young. So just to prove this particular point, why Lord Krishna himself personally comes, Akbar asked that to prove that. So what Birbal did at that time, he picked his son, Akbar's son, and threw him in the river. So Akbar immediately jumped into the river to save his child. So then when he came back on the boat, he asked, why did you do all these things? So then Birbal explained everything. So you understood, yeah? You are a king. You could have asked your servant to save your child, but you yourself jumped to save your child, not anyone else. So like that, Lord loves his devotees so much, he personally comes to save them from this material world. So he could have said, Lord could have sent his agents to deliver the servants, but he loves his devotees so much that he personally does. So that's what I heard, Prabhu. If there is anything, you may be able to.
Yeah. What is like, I hear from, I think one Senach is mentioning that, the Akbar have a big lake, on which lake Birbal is saying that, I want to do boating. And I want to take your son with me. So in the noontime, they're doing boating, and king and his all, soldiers, they are surround of the lake. And he was, riding the boat. Somehow or other, the boat was flipped up. The sun was in water, and also Birbal also in the water. So seeing that Akbar was jumped on that lake. And when Akbar actually peeked, Akbar doesn't, when Akbar saw it is not in his son actually. It is a replica of his son. Because Birbal doesn't take his son, he don't have that much power to take the Rajputra. It is one kind of offenses. He make a replica. So when seeing that replica, Akbar got very angry. So then Akbar said, why you are doing this kind of things ultimately. So then, the rest what you mentioned, that he said, Maharaj, you ask me why your lords have to come personally. So see, it's like you have so many soldiers, military is just surround with you. When you see the boat was just flipped up, your son in danger, you did an order to your soldiers. You jump it because you want to save your son. You don't believe anyone else. As much faith you have with you, you don't have that faith to the others that you could save my son. And that time you won't come on your mind. The similar way, the Lord loves his children. All the devotees, all the human beings are their children, Lord's children. So that's why Lords want to come personally to see and protect his children. So that's why we can see over here, this Lord Krishna only appear 28 Chaturjugas. Not only that, in the 7th Manus, Lord doesn't come in every Manvantar. Lord come particularly on 7th Manu, when the 7th Manu's kingdom ruling was going on. On that 7 Manus, when 27 Chaturjugas will go, the 28th number Chaturjugas, end of Dwapar, Lord Krishna will appear. It didn't appear even beginning of the Dwapar Yugas. End of the Dwapar Yugas, Lord Krishna will appear. And when that Dwapar Yugas will end and the Kali Yugas begin, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will appear. On that regard, how much blessed we are that we, personally, or we can say we are very much fortunate. By our good fortune, we take birth on this golden age. And specifically, not only this golden age, the very beginning of this golden age. This is just the beginning of the Kali Yugas. As is mentioning that when you see sunrise, before rising the sun, you can see a effulgence. You can see the red shadow on the sky. On the red shadow, the shadows on the sky, that's called Arunadai. That's called Arun Nadai. It's not a Shuryadai. So if you see in a calendar, where is all the astronomical timing zone are there, then you can see it's like Arunadai Kal today at 5:35 a.m. Shuryadai is 6:47 a.m. So we are in a Arunadai Kal of Kali Yugas. Even the Kali Yugas, sun is not come up yet. So how much blissful we are. On this material life, if we don't serve to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so ultimately we lost this opportunity. And I think there is no foolish person in this material world who could not understood these golden opportunities, or who could not get this opportunity to surrender the Supreme Personality's Godhead's lotus feet. So that's why we are very much, we are fortunate that we came on Shaptam Manvantar, Ashtabimshati Chaturjugas, end of the Dwapar Yugas, beginning of Kali Yugas, Arunadai Kal. Any adding, subtracting, anything? Ramchandra Priya Prabhu? Rachana Mata.
So, Prabhuji, so Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not appear anymore in this Manvantar.
Yes.
Or any other Manvantar. Oh.
Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not coming, not only is like this Manvantar, after that another 7 Manvantar are there, and every Manvantar have 71 Chaturjugas. So Krishna will not come personally. There is avatars will come. A partial will come. But himself, no. And this merciful Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, every Kali Yugas doesn't have this mercy. Every Kali Yugas doesn't have this merciful Lord. Only on this time. So how fortunate we are.
Yes.
That's why I said, Chaitanya Chandrer Daya Korohu Vichar. Vichar Korile Chitte Pavi Chamatkar. The judge on mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When you judge the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you'll say, wow. Simply will say, wow. Yeah, Ramchandra Priya Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, according to this calculation, so right now it is Brahma's noon time, 12 o'clock.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then there are some hours. Then after that, there will be partial inundation. When the
Right.
night of Brahma starts, there will be.
Right.
So that's what I was
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
thinking.
See, now is the Brahma's day is just only 12 hours now going on. Means 12 o'clock in noon time.
Noon time.
Noon time is going on. Could you remember, when in Jagannath Puri temple, when King Indradumna established that temple, and then Indradumna was thinking, I need a deity installation. On the deity installation, I need a priest and proper Brahmin. Not only priest, I need the priest means I need a proper Brahmin. So he was thinking, whom I can invite, whom I can accept as my priest. Then he decide, oh, yeah, I remember. I have one good Brahmin with me. Who is that? That's Lord Brahma. Could you ever think, can you go to Lord Brahma and said, Lord Brahma, I have some work for you. Could you please come and perform a yagna for me? Then he went to Brahmaloka. Then Brahma said, give me a sec. Give me a second. Let me pick my Kumandala and I'm walking with you. So Brahma just take a second only a second. And Brahma came back with Indradumna Raja in this earth. And do you know what happened? Ramchandra Prabhu, we want to hear from you.
Prabhu, here yugas and yugas have passed, and that temple was it was buried under the sand, and so then Kakbhushandi was there. Prabhu, you shared that once with me, Prabhu. I don't know. I have heard from you only, Prabhu. If you can say that this is a nice pastime, please share, Prabhu.
Okay. So then what happened? It was, happened to yuga after yuga. The Brahmas one sec, the yuga after yugas passed. By mercy of Lord, the King Indradumna have 18 sons and his wife. They all alive. Yuga dispersed, yuga after yuga's gone, but they are alive. Now, there is a king after king after king. There is many king passed. Now, finally, there's another king came. The king name is Gal Madhav. Was riding horses in beasts of ocean. When he was riding horses in a beast, his horse fall down. When his horse fall down, normally, horse run very fast in a sandy, sandy path. So beasts always have a sand. There is no solid element which can, horses can hurt, and specifically nail kind of things. If nail kind of things, horses got a poke, then horses actually fall. What happened? Now King Galmadhav thinking, why my horses fall down here? He was searching. He was just putting his hand and he was searching. Is it something in there? And then he found some very solid element. It's like very, very sharp. Then, he just read up to a little bit of sand. And I thought, when something poke us, it's a small thing. We don't use our complete power, complete force from our body, right? So it's a small thing. It's like a pen, right? I'm not putting my energy, just 2 fingers, just pick it up. The similar way, he put his 2 fingers and tried to pull them up. But he hold it, the solid element, tried to pull it. He cannot even, his hand came up, but the element doesn't came up. It's tiny bit. Why is it taking that long? Then he take out a little bit of more sand. Then he saw that element actually getting bigger. Said, what? Normally, it doesn't, see like this way. Why it is bigger? Then he put his both hand and pull. It's not coming out. Then he bring his complete forces and ordered them to remove the sand. When they're removing the sand, then that element was called a bigger, 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 and saw a wheel, a chakra. Then they thought it's just simple a chakra. They hold it, they try to pull up. It's not coming up. So what's wrong? Let's take out more mud, more sand. Then they saw the chakra actually, it is fixed with a stone.
Building or stone.
It's a building. It's a building as a stone.
Mhm.
So there is something might be in below. Then they ultimately, Dalmadha manifested that temple, completely bare under the sand. And then when he, found that temple, the door was closed. Then he opened that door. He saw a beautiful deity there, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and he started worship. And many people coming, getting darshan, getting blessings. Now Indradumna came with Brahma, and Indradumna saw who start puja. Now Galmadhav came, and Galmadhav said, "Who are you?" Indradumna asking, "Who are you?" Indradumna said, "I am the boss of this temple. I built this temple." Indradumna said, "Excuse me, you built this temple?" I built this temple, and see, I brought Brahma with me. Because he have to do yagna. Now there is almost fight was taking place. At that time, if you go to Jagannath Puri, there is a one bata vriksha is a banyan tree. The banyan tree is called kalpavriksha, is not kalpavrikshas actually, Akshay Bhat. Said like Yuga, there is a destroy, the pralay will be take place, but that Akshay Bhat will be remain. On that Akshay Bhat, that Yugas went, everything went under the mud, but the Akshay Bhat was remain. And on the top of the Akshay Bhat, there is one crow was residing. And that crow's name is Bhushandi. And the Bhushandi crow, who can speak. Now the Bhushandi crow said, hey, hey, don't fight you guys. Why you guys are fighting? Let me give you a description. Who was the owner of this temple? Then Bhushandi cow, they are asking, why we're going to believe you? Who are you? And crow, how long one crow can live, stay in life? Then that Bhushandika are mentioning about a few yugas before the battles. He said, I was present there and happened this, this, this. Do you need any more proof? Then he narrated complete things, that how, Indradumna got a dream. He sent his soldier. Then Vidyapati found uh, Nil Madhav. Nil Madhav doesn't came. Jagannath came as a wood farm. Indradumna built it. Vishwakarma came. Vishwakarma built this temple. Then Indradumna Maharaj went for Brahmaloka, and Brahma said one sec. When one sec, couple of yuga was gone, and many king came, and then you are the. Then he mentioned a certain of 100 numbers of that king, Galmadhav. You are in that number king now. Was pounded under the sand. And Galmadhav knows I found this in under the sand, and he knows I am not the owner of this temple. Then he said, yes, now I did understood. The Bhushandi crow are right. Then Brahma actually did particularly deity installation of Lord Jagannath, and he did Yagna. So if you go to Jagannath Puri, you can see Brahma Vedi, whereas Brahma was sitting there and performing a Yagna or deity installation of Lord Jagannath.
Yes, Prabhuji, that pita is like the square is still there.
Right.
But I don't think ordinary people are allowed to go.
No, only the Chaturvedis are there, surround, sitting there and doing the Veda Adhyayana, so you can only see from far away.
Yes, and I remember the tree also.
Yes, the Akshay Bhat.
And under that tree, all the Mahadevs came.
Right.
So very small, Mahadev mandirs. All the Mahadev who are in Puri, they all came there, it seems.
Right.
Yeah, that mandir is adbhut.
Yep.
I mean, you feel something different.
So that's the thing, sir, the timing zone. So Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear on this. So now, if someone asks, you can always give the descriptions about our time limit when Supreme Personality of Godhead come, how long the Brahma live in this material world, how many Manus we have was ruling this kingdom, how long their kingdom times. We got all the details, last few verses, right? So any concern on this, means what we just uh, discuss? We can go to our next verse. Yes,
No,
Ramanujan Prabhu, you want to add something?
no concern, Prabhu, but inconceivable. It's a huge number to calculate, and with going through these years, it's just beyond imagination. This is very, very inconceivable.
Yep, no doubt. It's like I remember almost, I think 22, 23 years ago, 22 or 23 years ago, in Shillong. Shillong was a capital of Meghalaya, and it's a hill station state in India. It's a very small state. You hear the name of Meghalaya, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, very beautiful also. It's like complete state are hill.
Yeah,
Meghalaya.
never been to that place. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I heard it.
Yeah, and the temperature is very pleasant, and it's like same as USA. You just see that is a sunny. Within a 30 minutes, you saw a super heavy rain. Rain is finished again sunny.
Yeah,
Because it's
there
very
is
high
that-
station, so the sky come and hit. The rains took place very often there.
Yeah, Prabhu, I have heard like in Cherrapunji, it is world's highest rainfall.
Yeah,
That
Cherrapunji
is-
also I went there. We went there for preaching, just next to
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so that's in Meghalaya, Cherrapunji.
That's
so
in Meghalaya. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just from Shillong is 35 kilometers in Cherrapunji. Beautiful place. So on that Meghalayas, as we are there, we was actually staying in one temple, Durga temple. So it's like open space, and temperature is almost 2 degree, 3 degrees Celsius. Super cold, So then what happened? One teacher, wherever we stay, we do the darshanarti. We take our buses for book distribution, and every day morning we do the darshanarti. So local people come, listen to kirtan. Then after arti kirtan, we distribute the prasadam. So after prasadam, then we invite some people to come evening. We have a Bhagavad Gita class. We do hold the preaching, distributing the books. Evening we come back, take bath, and then we do Bhagavad Gita class for 40 minutes, and then we eat prasad and we sleep. On that time, there is one question came. He said, I asked so many people, I didn't get correct answer. So it's like he have a mood to, he's not try to learn. He have a mood to, I would say, present himself that he knows everything. And he knows the ultimate religious method. No one don't know the ultimate religious method. So he was asking, so Lord Krishna, he came to these Dwapar Yugas. And you guys are saying that Brahma have a certain age, only in 100 years. How it is possible? Then Krishna come after how many years later? So I gave him, I said, he was a teacher and he was a mathematician too. I said, okay, I'm giving you some math point. You find out the answer, bring it back and let me know what answer you get. And then I will give you your proper answer. So I gave this complete, that you do plus 400. And then I told 432,000 years. Then 864,000, 1,296,000, and 1,726,000 is equal to then into 71, into 14, into 2, into 365, into 100. Bring the answer. I will give you your answer also. He didn't come last, I mean, after 4 days. 4 days later, also he didn't come, but he was actually going to the market. And the Durga temple actually very close to the market. And I saw he was going. I came out, I said, he didn't come. You didn't get your answers with the last couple of years. You are asking these questions to the sadhus, and you said you didn't get answer. So what happened? Why you didn't come? He said, no, I'm a little busy. I'm going to talk to you later. Okay. Evening, I catch him again. Then I said, okay, give me the number. What you get? He said, sorry, my math are not giving an answer. There is no digit remain. How much digit we have in this? It's gone. There is no more digit I have. And I said, you cannot even calculate the Brahma's age. How you can calculate how long before? I mean, how long every after yugas Lord Krishna's come. And as I tell, Lord Krishna come every day of Brahma. Every day of Brahma. When 12, when the 14 Manus age will be goes, then every day of Brahma during the noon time, Lord Krishna appear, because he come to Saptam Manantar and Astabhimshati Chaturjugas. So every day of noon time of Lord Brahma, personality of Godhead come and find out how many years on these earthly years. I give you the questions, you get the answer. And I think, if you want, I have all the proofs I can give you. It is not someone just, present by their own mind speculations. So proofs are there. And here you go. And I was referring in CC, and I gave him a whole CC set and a whole Bhagavatam set. I said, this is the proof whenever you need. And if you want to, try to discuss with some higher mathematicians, so you need a documentary. So here is your documentary. You buy these books and stay with it. And try to read. Then we'll get even more information. Everything we have here. And on material senses, we can't even calculate the years. How much? Okay, we can go to the next verse, verse 11. Dasya Shakho Vatchallo Sringara Charirosh Chari Bhaver Bhakta Jato Krishna Taravash. Dasya Shakho Vatchallo Sringar Charirosh Chari Bhaver Bhakta Jato Krishna Taravash. Translation. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu, translation, please.
Servitude, dasya, friendship, sakya, paternal affection, vatsalya, and conjugal love, shringar, are the 4 transcendental mellows, rasas. By the devotees who cherish these 4 mellows, Lord Krishna is subdued.
Jai. Short and sweet purport by Srila Prabhupada. Ramanujan Prabhu, please.
Sure, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dasya, Shakya, Vatsalya, and Shringar are the transcendental modes of loving service to the Lord. Santarasha or the neutral stage, is not mentioned in this verse because although in Santarasha one considers the absolute truth, the sublime great, one does not go beyond the conception. Santarasha is very grand idea of materialistic philosophers, but such idealistic appreciation is only the beginning. It is the lowest among the relationships in the spiritual world. Shantarasha is not given much importance because as soon as there is a slight understanding between the knower and the known, active loving transcendental reciprocations our exchanges begin. Dasya Rasa is the basic relationship between Krishna and his devotees. Therefore, this verse considered Dasya, the first stage of the transcendental devotional service.
Jai. Giving some explanation, Prabhu?
You explain, Prabhu, better than I can explain.
So it's very nicely Prabhupada mentions over here, because normally we know Shanta, Dasya, Shakha, Vatsalya, Madhur. So that's 5 rashas normally we know, but this verse, the Shanta rashas doesn't provide. So Srila Prabhupada gives complete descriptions over here, because what happened is mentioning until we don't have mode of surrender, we are not protected. As I normally give one very a very easy example. The example is a fisherman was catching the fish by a net. So would throw the net in the water. All fish got cast by net, but one fish, it didn't get cast by that net. So many times fishermen try to catch that fish, but fisherman cannot catch that fish on his net. Why? Why that fish are not coming to that net? What is the reason? What could be, Ram Hanuman Prabhu? What could be reason?
Not sure, Prabhu. That's maybe something has to do with transcendental.
Okay. Rachana Mata, what do you think?
Prabhuji, maybe the fish is small. She can easily come out from the net.
Okay, that makes sense though. Kishori Mata, look like आप घर पे आ गए हो.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah.
Yes. So Mata, what do you think? Why that fish not getting cast by net?
Is it only small fish cannot come, or in fishes in general? Like
Yes, is in general, it doesn't mention the small or big. Saying is like all fish getting cast, but one fish are not catching up.
I think that fish focus is not to be caught up by the net. I mean, that fish is trying to escape.
Okay, okay, that's good. Divanand Prabhu?
I don't know, Prabhu. I think maybe fish knows how to get, like how to save herself from the net, like.
Or maybe that fish is praying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speculation, Prabhu.
I was not asking Ramchandra Prabhu because he knows. So Prabhu, your turn. Ramchandra Prabhu.
Prabhu, like I know that there are animals who are attracted. They're one sense, they are weak in one sense. So like fishes are caught by, like when you put that some worm or something, and then you throw that string and then the fish gets caught because they have that weakness of taste like that. So they are attached. So that is the reason why the fish gets hooked in that. So maybe this fish is transcendental or whatever the devotees are saying, but that is the reason why fishes get caught.
No, the question is because there is a fisherman using a net.
Net. So
Is
this
that
is
the
a
net?
different thing. Yeah, that's
the
true.
net. So all fish got caught, but one fish are not getting cast by that fisherman.
I don't know, Prabhu. Yeah.
Very simple answer, Prabhu. What happened? The fisherman knows, the fish knows how I can save myself. What happened? Whenever the fisherman spreading his net, the fish came and take shelter to fisherman's feet, under the feet. Because the fisherman never going to put the net on top of his feet. So his feet areas are protected. Rest of the place are not protected at all. So the mentioning, the net is a Maya. All the fish we are. We are the fish. And the river is this material world. Maya throwing the net, we all getting catch. Only the person who was taking shelter of Lord Krishna's lotus feet, that net of Maya never going to be cast that fish.
So beautiful.
Yeah, very
Isn't
beautiful.
it very simple also?
Yeah, very simple and very beautiful.
Very simple, very highly philosophy. So the fish never get cast, means that fish is staying under the feet of the fisherman. So under the feet of fisherman, the fish is completely safe. It never will get caught. Similar way, if we take shelter to the Vaishnavas, the Guru's lotus feet, safe. We are completely safe. Guru will take us and take to give to Krishna, give to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So that's way I'm mentioning the Dashya as a servant. Servant is always take shelter of lotus feet. So that's why our this verse, the devotees are begin with the servatory mode. Because when we don't have that mood, oh, why I'm become a servant? I'm not a servant, I'm a boss. I don't want to become a servant. Only in this material world, you can see very few people, they used to say, I am your servant. And those only you can see, those people are come to get connected with devotional service, understood our real position. Then that person behave. Yes, I'm not this king. I'm the servant after servant after servant after servant. That's why the very first things they're bringing here, the servatory mode. And Srila Prabhupada, that's over here is mentioning, the philosopher, they talk about Lord Nishanta, but they never talk about Dasha. Dasha, very important, and this verse are mentioning Darsha, the beginning one. And as we know, Shakya, when you become a servant, then there is a going to the upper level, Rashas, slowly, it could be increased with the Shaksha, then obviously Vatsalya, and then Shringaradi Rashas. So in the next verses are mentioning why, because only the Dasha Rashas can be stayed. There is no other Rashas are required. But why Lord actually doing the pastime with the other Rashas also? The next verse are giving that explanations. Dasha Shakha Pita Mata Kanta Gonaloya Braja Kira Kore Krishna Prema Vishto Hoya. Raman, translation, please.
Translation: absorbed in a such transcendental love, Lord Sri Krishna enjoys in Vraja with his devoted servants, friends, parents, and conjugal lovers.
Nice purport by Srila Prabhupada. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu, please. Prabhu, you're mute. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu. Unmute.
Sorry, Prabhu.
It's okay.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai. The descent of Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is very purposeful. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that one who knows the truth about Sri Krishna's descent and his various activities is at once liberated and does not have to fall again to this existence of birth and death after he leaves his present material body. In other words, one who factually understands Krishna makes his life perfect. Imperfect life is realized in material existence. In 5 different relationships we share with everyone within the material world: neutrality, servitorship, friendship, filial love, and amorous love between husband and wife or lover and beloved. These 5 enjoyable relationships within the material world are perverted reflections of relationship with the absolute personality of Godhead in that transcendental nature. That absolute personality, Sri Krishna, descends to revive the 5 eternally existing relationships. Thus, he manifests his transcendental pastimes in Vraja so that people may be attracted into that sphere of activities and leave aside their imitation relationships with the mundane. Then, after fully exhibiting all such activities, the Lord disappears.
Give some explanation, Prabhu.
Prabhu here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that the relationship that Krishna has with his pure devotees in the spiritual world, that is the real relationship. And what we are here in the material world, we experience are all the perverted reflection of that relationship here. So the different relations like neutrality, servitorship, friendship, and the conjugal love. These 3 are the basic relationships in the material world also we see. So the Lord comes and enact those pastimes in those relationships when he comes here and attract us to go back to him. So that's what Prabhu I understand. Prabhu, you can elaborate on that.
Yes, Prabhu. You did. You give nice point here. And yes, when is like someone on this material world, they come and don't have that good, nice relationship. So then no one can go very easily or lovely to that person's lotus feet. As we can see, Lord's avatars comes, all the avatars. Those avatars, people are not that much attracted with. Sometimes they're very much scared with. As like we have, you can say, Parshuram avatar. Or you can say, when Lord appeared as a Hayagriv or Kurma or Baraha, we're not that much attractive with them because they just appear with the power of Lord Krishna. They did their job. After they did their job, then they go back. So you won't attract us a lot. But when Krishna, he came in these earthly planets, and as we are in this material world with this material consciousness, we need some miracle to see, having nice attractions with that Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the very beginning, Lord Krishna started his attraction to the devotees with the putanas, killing the putanas. Then we know each chapter, there is a many pastimes he performed. But when he did perform these pastimes, background he have parents, mother, father, uncle, aunt. So that's even a more are attractive to this material nature kind of personalities. And in this material world, only this kind of pastimes Lord do, just fulfilling his devotee's desire. Completely fulfilling his devotee's desire. That's the main thing, sir. We can see if we read in all the Puranas, specifically Brahma Vaimutta Puranas, Radha Hriday Khanda, where is this mentioning how Lord Jagannath Baladev Subhadra was manifested by? How Lord Jagannath doesn't have leg, 50% hand remain. Subhadra Mata doesn't have leg, hand, and things. So this is pastimes are happening in this material world, giving the descriptions about the pure love with his devotee. And this is only possible in this earthly planet. So that's why Krishna come and Krishna perform this pastime on this earthly planet with his devotee as parents, its servitors, beloved, and according to their, according to their devotee's mood, they appear in front of him in the same way. As I mentioned, I think, do I share in our reading group or Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's story that was sometimes act as a Bashalla Rasha in Vrindavan? Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj used to live in Vrindavan. Rachana Mata, do you remember? Do I discuss Jagannath Das Babaji's story in Vrindavan?
Yes, Prabhuji, you did, but not related to Vatsalya. You did mention one story, but then he left Vrindavan.
Right, right. It's related with
And
Bashalla also.
yeah,
He
oh,
gave the cause, Bashalla Rasha's cause.
oh. You mentioned the story related to that once Jagannath Babaji received bhiksha from the sweeper. That one you mentioned,
Yeah,
not.
that's the first course. And the second, he tell to his servant Bihari Das that, I really don't want to stay in Vrindavan because see Mother Yashoda are so rude. My Lala just steal some butter. My Lala just steal some butter. And
Yes.
for that, Mother Yashoda tied him with a wooden grinding motor. If these things is fall down, look at my Lala, is a tiny boy. As a Bachelor Rashas are showing over here. And say, look at to my Shachimata, my Nimai, how much naughty he was. He break down all the pots. But still Mother Shachi came, instant of a scream on him. She tried to find out, oh, my son is okay. Did he got some, a pain somewhere? He got some heat from somewhere. Oh, Mother, so Shachimata is so merciful. And that's why I want to go to, from Vrindavan, I want to go to Mayapur, the merciful land. That's the mood of Vatsalya. You can see the many devotees, they are worship Lord as a Vatsalya Rashas. Such we can see Ganga Mata Goswamini. Ganga Mata Goswamini, who was worshipping Lord as a Vatsalya Rashas. Ramchandra, Priya Prabhu, did you remember some more devotees with serving to the Lord as a Vatsalya Rashas?
No, Prabhu, I don't remember offhand, Prabhu.
Lokanath Goswami, serving Lord as a Vatsalya Rashas. Who have a deity. What is his deity name?
Radha Vinod?
Right, Radha Vinod. We're just reading in Bhakti Ratnakar. We're getting that. Serving Radha Vinod as a Vatsalya Rashas. So there is many to establish that, the Lord was accepting the service from his devotee on various way. But yes, we can't imitate, which Srila Prabhupada mentioned. The imitate are the most, dangerous things for our devotion. Sometimes we see in Vrindavan or some other holy places, they try to imitate, try to act like a Mother Yashoda. A man wearing shari, putting all things and acting Mother Jashoda and oh Kanhaya my Lala. So it's not the imitating, but serving as the Rashas of Vatsalya. That's the most important part. Okay, any addition, subtractions on this?
Prabhu, in the previous words, it's mentioned the most important is dasya rasa. Although there are some other mentions here, and that's why I think in Krishna consciousness, our whole principle is as a dasya rasa,
Yes. Yes.
serving the and devotees.
Yep. Yes, this is the only, I think it's like only one Rashas where is difficulty is a little less and very less chance to commit offenses. Right? When you act as a servant, there's very less chance to commit offenses.
Yeah, your mood is different at that point. You're not in that, because once your mood is in a servant mood, you're right, it's less chances to be commit any offenses. But while others, there are chances, high chances for committing some offenses.
Right.
Prabhuji, I don't know why I feel that in all the rasas, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Shringar, इसमें भी मुझे लगता है shade of dasya है. Like it does have dasya, मतलब सेवा जब करते इसमें भी दास्य है. It's not yeah, I feel like all this rasa have dasya.
It's inherited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's mentioning because see, that's how you can establish those all the Rashas. Means you have to go step by step. When you go step by step, it is adding, is not a distracting. It is not, you are not actually leaving the dashas and going to the shakha. So dasha will be connected with it. Yeah, dasha will be there. But yes, the very beginning means if we that could become very automatically. But sometimes that our capacity is to stay in a dashas. Might be in your service, you are loved with Krishna's as a Vatsalya, but your mood as a Dasya, your mood as a servitor is.
Yeah, one thing comes to mind, Prabhu, on this example when you mention the friendship rasa, right? Krishna has a friendship with Sudama. And once he had that friendship with Sudama, he did not consider him as a really, truly friend, but he has a, in the back of mind, is a serving attitude as well. And even though he was so poor, but still he took some rice for him, his torn dhoti, when he went to see Lord Krishna. So he had that, even though they were friends, but still there was a dasya mood there.
Right. True. Okay. যথেষ্ট বিহরি কৃষ্ণ করে অন্তর্ধ্যান করি মনে করে অনুমান. Okay, translation, Divyanand Prabhu.
Sure. Lord Krishna enjoys his transcendental pastimes as long as he wishes, and then he disappears. After disappearing, however, he thinks thus.
So see, is like Lord Krishna, according to his plan, he perform his pastimes, and then when his pastimes time is over, he goes. Now, is mentioning that he came and he performed pastimes, but he didn't give the devotion. He performed the pastimes, Now see, Chirokala nahi kare prema bhakti dan, bhakti bina jagoter nahi avasthan. So for a long time, I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. So Lords never stay forever on this earthly planet. And Lords, if Lords doesn't exist in this material world, perform that pastimes. So Prema Bhakti, as we know, unalloyed love, he don't distribute every time. And if there is the unalloyed loves are not there, is the bhaktis are not there, the devotions are not there, ultimately this world is completely useless. As like you have a body, but one thing is missing, soul are missing. Does that body have any values? Nothing. The body is a dead body. And that's why bhakti is like the things. Without a water, how fish can live? Without a water, how fish can live? Without a water, how human can live? If you don't have food, there is not a problem. If you don't have water, there is a big problem, isn't it? So without a water, human cannot live, and without water, fish also cannot live. This is said that without devotion, the human being cannot live. And not only the human being, we're talking about the universe. Without the devotions, this universe are completely useless. The Lord seldom award the pure transcendental love, but without such pure love of God, freed from the fruitive activities and empiric speculations, one cannot attain perfection in life. As Srila Prabhupada gave this purport, that's there is no doubt about it. Perfections of life, until we get the devotion, we get the bhakti, we cannot get the perfection. So next verse now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami are connecting every verse to next to each other. Shakolo jagote more kori vidhi bhakti brojo bhava paite nahi shakti. Translation, Ramchandra Priya Prabhu.
Translation. Everywhere in the world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulative principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotee in Brajabhumi.
So it's clear, are mentioning that how everyone in everywhere in this world, they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by that worshipping, we can attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet. But one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Brajabhumi. So this is talking about a very high, as the Vidhi Marga Bhaktis and Raga Marga Bhaktis. So talking about here, Vidhi Bhakti Brajabhav Paite Nahi Shakti. Vidhi Bhakti. So, what is the saying over here? The Vidhi Bhaktas. Yeah, by regulating devotional service.
Mhm.
So, by regulating devotional service, so over here, a little bit of difference on Braj Dham. Why the Braj Dham was a little bit of different? Because Braj Dham are not connecting with the Osharyas. As the next are mentioning, Osharya Gyanete Shava Jagotami Strita Oshad Joshi Thilo Preme Nahimo Prita. Translation, Ramanaman Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhuji. Knowing my opulences, the whole world looks upon me with awe and veneration. But devotion made feelable by such reverence does not attract me.
Purport, Divanand Prabhu, please.
Sure, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
After his appearance, Lord Krishna thought that he had not distributed the transcendental personal dealings with his devotees in Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. One may understand the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the Vedic literatures and thus become a devotee of the Lord and worship him within the regulative principles described in the scriptures. But one will not know in this way how Krishna is served by the residents of Rajabhumi. One cannot understand the dealings of the Lord in Vrindavan simply by executing the ritualistic regulative principles mentioned in the scriptures. By following scriptural injunctions, one may enhance his appreciation for the glories of the Lord, but there is no chance for one to enter into the personal dealings with him. Giving too much attention to understanding the exalted glories of the Lord reduces the chance of one's entering into the personal loving affairs with the Lord. To teach the principles of such loving dealings, the Lord decided to appear as Lord Chaitanya.
Jai. The Prabhupada gave very nice short and sweet purport over here, that how and for why Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu need to appear. Because sometimes we don't know how to serve to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And specifically in this age of Kali. What happening? They're misusing our philosophy. They're misusing our old statement when before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived. And that's why on Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vasudev, in the very beginning, he was warned us, right? He was warned us by that verse, Dharma prajujito kuitava atra parama nirmat saranam satam vidyam vastava atra vastu shivadam tapatraya unmelanam. Krishna Kaviraj Goswamis are mentioning, Prithivite dharma name jaha kichu chale, Bhagavat kahe taha paripurna chale. In this earthly planets, whatever going on by known as dharma, Srimad Bhagavatam are mentioning, those dharmas are all false dharmas or fake dharmas. So that's why, the Oshajas Gans, you can't go to the Brajadham. And we know the Oshajas Devi, she never entered to Brajadham. She can't enter to Brajadham. So she have to wait outside of the Brajas. Do you know what is the name? Rachana Mata?
लक्ष्मी जी का बोल रहे क्या? हाँ, लक्ष्मी जी.
Lakshmi ji. The Lakshmi is never entered to Vrindavan Dham. She can't.
Yeah, because she came with the Aishwarya.
Right. And there is nice pastimes during the Rath Yatra time on Hera Panchami day, the Panchami Tithi, day of 5th of Rath Yatra. So Hera Panchami day, the nice pastimes take place. The Lakshmi come and attract Vrindavan but she can't enter to Vrindavan. So she stayed from outside and the border of the Vrindavan. So all the soldiers of Lakshmi's, they attacked from that border, and all the Brajavashis, they defeat, they reattacked to Lakshmi's soldiers. And that time, we are in Brajdham. There is opulences are there, but that opulences are completely different. And because of that completely different opulence, everyone cannot see that opulences. As if we read, when we were going to read Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi, lila, or Rath Yatra festival, and Hera Panchami details, we'll read that, where the Lakshmi soldiers going to be chastised to Brajbashis. How come you guys keep Krishna? You guys keep Krishna with you. Do you know who is Krishna? Who is Jagannath? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you guys just, keeping him in a one straw hut room. What do you guys have? Krishna stay in a golden palace. And you don't have a golden palace. What talking about golden palace? You have all the houses made with a straw. And many things, many things will be take place. And then they start talking. This Brajadham, Osharya doesn't come up, but Brajdhams, all the outsiders are starting from here ultimately. As mentioning, you are saying the straw hut, the straw is not a straw. That's all the diamonds. Is it you're talking about this tree? All the trees are the Kalpavriksha. Talking about our cows. Said our cows all are Kamadhenu. So that's why in Vrindavan, that Osharya mood doesn't work. They always little away from Vritsdham. Anything add in, Ramchandra Priya Prabhu?
No, Prabhu, you shared everything, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
You can go
Prabhu,
to
I
the...
have,
Yes, Prabhu.
I have a clarification.
Yes, please.
I'm trying to understand, going back to verse 14.
Mhm.
In the translation, it says, "For a long time, I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon inhabitants of the world." So I'm trying to understand who's saying to who. Here, I don't know, I means, but the me is Lord Shri Krishna, right? It's capital.
Yes.
So, and I means is here Krishna himself or somebody else saying it?
This I is ultimately Chirokal Nahi Kori Prema Bhakti Dan. This I is a Krishna himself.
So, okay. So Krishna saying to himself that I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me. So to himself.
Right.
Okay. Yeah,
Prabhuji,
I was kind of confused about that. So I wanted to clarify that.
Rosina Mata?
हिंदी में इतना सुंदर है, अनअलॉयड डिवोशनल सर्विस ऐसे नहीं है, इसमें है प्रेम भक्ति। दीर्घ काल से मैंने अपनी अनन्य प्रेम भक्ति का दान विश्व के निवासियों को नहीं दिया। ऐसी प्रेममयी अनुरक्ति के बिना भौतिक जगत का अस्तित्व व्यर्थ है। तो प्रेम भक्ति, और मनोरमा प्रभु जी आपने बोला कि कृष्ण in Krishna Lila, during Krishna Avatar, Krishna performed Leelas, but he did not give dan of Prema Bhakti. Whereas in Chaitanya Avatar, he gave the dan of Prema Bhakti.
Right. So over here, our Lord Krishna are mentioning the purpose of coming as form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, the Lord Krishna are mentioning this to his planet. That's, I don't give this prema bhakti. And not only the prema bhakti. In Bengali, is mentioning Vishuddha. Not a Shuddha, Vishuddha. The purest prema bhakti. Excuse me. I don't give. The purest prema bhakti I don't give. And without the devotion, without the purest prema bhakti, that world is useless. So this is the Krishna are talking, the reason of coming as form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived, so Krishna are mentioned, because we are still in talking about Krishna, because Krishna are talking. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. As Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami mentioned, and we read that in the previous lokas also, that after Lord Krishna disappeared after the end, after performing his lila at the end of Dwapar Yuga, when he went back to his abode, then he was thinking to himself that for a long time I have not given my Vraja Prema Bhakti to the residents of this material world. So let me go and give that Prema Bhakti to them as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Right.
So he's thinking to himself in his mind, what Ramanvan Prabhu was reading that verse. So he's thinking to himself and saying to himself. Sometimes we do also, yeah, that I'll have to planning in the mind, we go and we think, we speak also, well, thinking that way. So Krishna is thinking that way. And then that is the reason for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance.
Yes, Ram Hanuman Prabhu. That
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, that answer. That's what I was wondering, why Krishna has to do unalloyed loving service to himself.
You know, if you read in Chaitanya Mangal, by Lachan Das Thakur, so Lachan Das Thakur in the very beginning is called Shutra Khanda. Shutra Khanda is like a introductory chapter. Introductory chapter where is a mention, as in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we hearing about the pastimes of the region. There is a three region. Anarpita Charing Chirat Karunaya Vatinakalo. And then Shiradhaya, Pranaya Mahima Kidrishava Madhya. So we hear that ultimate reason why Krishna came as form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shiradhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrishava Madhya. But in Chaitanya Mangal saying, that's there. The other things also there. So one is this verse, actually Losan Das Thakur quoting it, is Chaitanya Mangal. That Krishna are mentioning to Narad Muni. Lord Krishna are mentioning to Narad Muni. That's, it's a very long time. I came. But I have to give a pure Prema Bhakti to the material world and spread this message to all my worker, all my departmental head, and tell them to, pack their luggage, time to go in action, in a field. And what he did, he ordered everyone to come, but he changed it a little bit. What he changed it? In the age of Dwapar, he bring everyone, the Krishna is the only one Purusha form, and he brought a lot of the woman form. And this age of Kali, he make Dwaparas all the women, he make all the men. Transferred them as a man form. So see, all the Goswamis, they are all Shakhis, Manjaris, all the Vaishnavas, Upamanjaris, all are there. So Lord Chaitanya came as a form of the men, and all the women in the Dwapar Yugas, he brought all of them and give them form up as a man, and all are acting in this. So that's the saying, how merciful age is this age of Kali. The Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being his all worker, all associate, and give the right position, proved what is the ultimate prema bhakti are. It is beautiful. If you have a Chaitanya Mangal, you can read. Very beautiful. The very introductory chapter. Later on, it will be entered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Girastha Lila. The introductory chapter having a nice introductions.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And Prabhu, another thing I wanted to say, Prabhu.
Yes,
here. Yeah, and why, one may question why Krishna is thinking like this Vraja Bhakti, he will have to go and give. Because the reason is Vraja Bhakti can only be given by Krishna himself. No other incarnation can give Vraja Prema or Vraja Bhakti. Any other incarnation, if he comes, they will not give. They will give Aishwarya, like you can go to Vaikuntha and all those planets, but not to Krishna Loka. So for Vraja Bhakti, only Krishna himself has to come and give. So that's why the Lord has to come personally as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
So Prabhu, so I was reading the 15th verse. I think going back to what we read in Nectar of Devotion, it teaches us the Raganuga Bhakti. So, which is trying to attain the loving sentiments of devotees in Vraj Bhumi. It's the highest form of bhakti. And then we are also talking about the Prema Bhakti. So we as sadhakas in performing like Vedi Sadhana Bhakti, how does Krishna see a Vedi Sadhana Bhakta? Because right now we are not, I don't know if we are even at the Aishwarya stage. Like, because Aishwarya stage, even that is very high. And then beyond that, we're talking about Prema here. So how does Krishna see a Vedi Sadhana Bhakta? How does he reciprocate with the Vedi Sadhana Bhakta?
Ramchandra Prabhu, give answer.
Yes, Prabhu, this is the same question. Prabhu, what Prabhu is asking right now, the same question was asked to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj when he came to our temple by one of the devotees. So I'll answer what Maharaj said. So in Nectar of Devotion, you have read, Prabhu, you may have read that we can attend the Vraja Bhakti by following those devotees of Vrajadham, Ragatmika Bhaktas. By following Ragatmika Bhaktas, you can achieve that Bhakti, that Raganuga Bhakti you can achieve. By following Vidhi Marg, you cannot achieve Raganuga Bhakti. So your question is how Krishna sees that. So here, when Lord Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than the combination Radha and Krishna. So when we follow Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are following a Ragatmika Bhakta. So by following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we'll go to Vraja. So though we are following Vidhi Marga, but because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has asked us to follow Vidhi Marga, and we are following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that's how we will go to Goloka. So,
thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. So
Yeah.
this makes sense to me. I feel like then we should quickly cover Srimad Bhagavatam and just spend our life on Chaitanya Charitamrita. why we are, for myself, I feel like we can spend years and years just on Srimad Bhagavatam itself because it's so vast. But then we can stay as sadhaka. But until we reach the point of following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we'll stay with the sadhana bhakti. Is that the correct understanding, Prabhu? Then in that case, we have to, following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only way to get to the highest form of bhakti.
So Prabhu, what Srila Prabhupada said, like, because we are not that pure, so we have to run on both the tracks, Vidhi Marg and Raganuga. So what is Raganuga we are following in Srila Prabhupada's teaching? Like we are doing all the deity worship, all this falls under the Vidhi Marga. Archana Marga. That is Vidhi Marga. And what we are doing, like chanting. Chanting is not a Vidhi Marga. It doesn't fall under Vidhi Marga. That is a Bhagavad Marga. That
Bhagavad Dharma.
yeah, Bhagavad Dharma. So chanting, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, all that is Bhagavad Dharma. So we are doing both in parallel. So we are not doing only one thing. So Prabhupada has given us both the things. So we are following both the paths together. So ultimately, we will our vidhi will marga bhakti will get transformed into spontaneous love. So by chanting and reading Bhagavatam and following Lord Chaitanya's teaching, it will slowly we will develop a spontaneous love for Lord Krishna, and we will go back to Goloka.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
yeah, because we are not that pure. That's why we cannot only just do chanting and reading Bhagavatam and we'll be purified and all those. So we'll have to follow Vidhi Marga also. Pancharatrika Vidhi is also important. Manoram Prabhu can add. Prabhu,
No, you
junior
add
Prabhu.
no, you add completely. And yes, we are not doing the actually only we're not staying in one rack of the wood. We're actually have the both rack and our both feet are stopped with the both path. So you're not going to have a disbalance to fall down. You have complete balance with the both feet, can walk down very nicely. That's what Srila Prabhupada give us. Complete. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu borrowed this. And I said, Bhagavad Shravan, Shraddha, Vigraha Seva, Bhagavad Shravan, and Divya Nam Jap. By chanting, worshipping, and reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, ultimately we're doing Vidhi and Bhagavad Marg, which is the Ragatmaka Marg, are combined together. And also is like, I remember that's when Guru Maharaj just came in, our temple, these questions. And after this question, there's another questions came. So these questions, Guru Maharaj really don't like it. The persons try to not understand, he got a little angry. You might remember, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was so happy at that time.
Chastise that person.
Yeah.
Because he was arguing unnecessarily.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's
That's
arguing and don't try to not understanding.
Yeah.
So one more, just one follow-up question, Prabhu, and is so Bhagavad Dharma we know, and then the Pancharatrika, which is deity worship, and so Bhagavad Dharma includes the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarana, all the 9 processes. So Prahlad Maharaj, when he was giving instructions to all the Gurukul or Asurakul friends, he didn't, and I don't remember, but he didn't, did he even mention love of God, or did he mention till the point of doing Shravanam, Kirtanam and all those 9 and reaching, like because he didn't mention Vrajabhumi, he didn't mention those beyond the Dasya Rasa, right? Is that the correct understanding? Because he only reached till the Dasya Rasa, but beyond that he couldn't explain, because it was like you were saying, it's only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who can take us beyond that.
Yes, true.
Yeah, Prabhu, like love of Godhead, when you use that word, love of Godhead, that can be used for any incarnation of God comes. Like if you go to Vaikuntha, and all those are love of Godhead only. But here, a special love of Godhead, that is Krishna Prema, that is called, that is not available to everyone, or everyone can go until Lord Krishna comes and gives that to someone. So yeah, Prahlad Maharaj, he's in Aishwarya Bhakti, like to Lord, in opulence, awe and reverence kind of Bhakti. So that natural, spontaneous love which the residents of Rajabhumi manifest, that is not there. That is true. Like here also, right now, also in other sampradayas like Sri Sampradayas and all those, they follow the, they are also following love of Godhead. That is called love of Godhead only. But that is Aishwarya Bhakti. not prema bhakti, you can say. That is Aishwarya bhakti, Vaikuntha. You can reach up to Vaikuntha with that. So that's true. So in our parampara also, it is until like that symptoms of the pure like Braja Bhakti was manifested first in Madhavendra Puri, in our Sampradaya also, from starting from Lord Brahma also. So after Madhavendra Puri, then Ishwar Puri, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we are getting about knowing about Krishna and all those things. So before that, the Acharyas have not discussed about Krishna that much, or about the bhakti of Raja. Yes, Manoram Prabhu, you can say.
Yes, Prabhu. No, you complete everything. So I think that's enough answer, right, Prabhu? Divanand
Yes.
Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So today is we cover almost 2 hours. So I really don't want to commit any more offenses to take some extra time from you guys. So as we start at 5:20, then I thought, okay, we can go till 7. So then we didn't had our Thursday class last week because of Nityananda Traidashi. So yeah, we'll keep here today, and then again we'll continue verse, I think 17. Yeah, verse 17 we'll do on coming Thursday. So until that, some we'll see tomorrow, and some we'll see on Monday also. Okay, until that, please stay safe. Bansha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhaya vacha paditanan pavonebhya vaishnavebhya namo namaha. अनंत वैष्णव वृंद की जय,
Jai.
जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय,
Jai.
समवेत
Grace
भक्त
Manoram
वृंद